splinters from my sister's chapter of La Leche lead, and now my niece knows sign language. Well, perhaps that's generous. What she knows is how to require diaper assistance every time my sister begins a conversation, and how to demand organic corn puffs. She is, in fact, tapping her beaked fingers to her lips right now. How many other 5-month-olds can do that, my sister beams. Certainly nice of her to have waited for the commercial, I say. We are watching a documentary about mine fires in Pennsylvania. Families have abandoned their homes, and animals have collapsed from carbon monoxide poisoning, but the footage is mostly of after. That is, mostly of smoking nothing. If my brother-in-law were here, he'd say something like, "Tell me, do you think they taught kids to stop, drop, and roll in the Centralia public school system?" I'm here to fill his side of the bed with perspective, I think. Or maybe I'm here because, unlike elsewhere, it is enough. My sister shares skills despite the triple-digit humidity, but today no group member brought the one she needs most. She calls from the meeting to say that she'll be later than anticipated. She's in search of an air conditioner mechanic, and in the desert, these things are serious. Dogs get forgotten in cars too long and dry out slowly. Even dried fruit looks different here, and drier. Hell, you could dry it yourself on the dash in an afternoon. I find myself wondering if my niece has a sign for overheated. Good luck, I say, but all I hear is air conditioner, over and over. I try to wrap my head around it. We do not live in Hogan's, and we are not intimate with the monuments of the Mesa. Still, we must remain focused, must minimize variables. When I'm home alone, I hold things over the stove and chart the way they feel when they meet the flame. How they move and sound and smell becomes my heat map. A strand of hair is a shivering alloy. A hydrangea petal is a cowering moth. I observe character between my fingertips. When we're home alone together, my niece and I, we dance. I lift her up and she demi-plies through the air as though she's been practicing someplace private all along. "You are my tiny Heraclitus," I tell her, helping her to feel motion from a flame. She becomes my sous chef. Buffalo mozzarella has a timid accent, and sheep cheddar glides like silk. In the kitchen, she begins to sign long narratives I cannot wholly follow. Eventually, she seems to tell the saga of my ex-girlfriend and my old home, but how can I be sure? One night, I asked my sister for a smidgen of human cheese for my mac. She has assorted varieties at the ready, but finds my request disrespectful. I don't imagine it would occupy a place on the character spectrum different from those of other animals, but I'm curious nonetheless. We are less special than most presume, I say, and isn't it possible you are mistaking language for flesh? Isn't it possible you have no clue what you're talking about, she says. Sure, I say, but someone's got to do some talking around here. One morning, the three of us take a drive to Leapin Lagoon for my niece to get reckless. My face feels hot and unfamiliar beneath the windshield, and after days in the climate-controlled dark, I realize I could use some splash padding myself. "Remember heater magic?" I ask, adjusting air slats until coolness skims my cheeks. "You know, on the way to school?" "Mom only let you do it," my sister says. "You were the only one who believed it." I don't know that I ever believed it, I say. I think I just liked feeling control over something specific. I mean, 1, 2, 3, heater magic, let me see. Who even makes that shit up? "Mom, apparently," my sister replies. We hear moaning from the back seat where my niece is shaking her fists up and down. The day tiny Heraclitus signs for something other than a shit is the day I go home, I say. But not a day sooner, she adds. I never tell her about the stories my niece signs after we dance. She probably already knows about them the way mothers like her know things, the way our mom knew things. She probably also thinks of asking where exactly I mean by home, but my sister understands timing in a way I never have. It won't be long before I visit tiny Heraclitus in her own life elsewhere. We'll be strolling, say, in Hasenheide Park one evening, and someone, a Spaniard, will ask for a light. Face lit by Forezzeug, the Spanish woman will tell my niece, "Your sunrise, it's very beautiful." And it always has been, but by blue sky in the foyer, there are only sonrisas. Over a flame there are hidden glints yet, but who has the patience to isolate a flame in a fire anymore, to tease it into a tall blooming grammar? My sister and niece are bobbing in the pool between two green fun noodles. I prepare to take their photo when a temperature warning crosses my display. The screen freezes from overheating just as the hand, for a split second, misrecognizes too hot water as icy. I pretend to go on with the camera, knowing my sister will ask for the photo later, knowing the duties of a time period's witness are in the cataloging. Say cheese, tiny Heraclitus, I say, and she grins, beach fingers tapping against parted lips. I lob a puff toward the pool, and delicately, it arrives in her expectant mouth.